Welcome to Remax TV. This is Geoff Baldwin. I'm the Managing Director of Remax WA, and today we're having a bit of a tennis match between myself and Josh the Wizard Williams from MyVids. Josh is the social media wizard, and I had a few questions to ask him, and he's written down a few questions here. He reckons if I can ask him questions, he's going to ask me a few as well. So we're going to delve into each other's business lives, and hopefully we can have an interesting 5 minutes that people out there in the land of, or our watchers, can enjoy.
Good to be here.
So no worries, Josh.
You've been succeeding in real estate for now over 2 decades, and yep. I know you've just, is it 7 months you've been in Remax?
Yeah, well, mate, I started out in 1987 with the Roy Weston Group as a salesperson. Decided to go into sales one day and I was in it the next. You know, I went to do my interview with the Roy Weston agent, spent 3 minutes with him, and he said, "Mate, you got a job." And I thought I was special, but apparently that's the way it happened. You know, like if you're breathing and moving, you got a job in real estate, and it used to be that way anyway. And I suspect in some agencies it might be that way still, but certainly not in Remax Western Australia. So yeah, 1987, and I've had a ball. You know, I did well as a salesperson, although you don't tell people about the tough times. Yeah. Certainly overall, I've enjoyed a terrific time as a salesperson. Went into management pretty quickly. Went on to own my own agencies, and then had the privilege of running the Roy Weston Group for 5 years, which was an amazing thing. Built it up from around the mid-30s in offices up to 51 offices. Right. And purchased by Harcourts a few years ago, and I left the group at that point to pursue other interests. Okay. And yeah, 7 months ago I decided to, well, actually it wasn't 7 months ago, I was dealing with the Remax people for a couple of years and signed the deal off in July last year, and yeah, 7 months down the track I'm very, very happy with where we're going with Remax West Australia.
So what made you choose Remax? Why did you buy the Remax?
Well, look, you know, it evolved. I had some interaction with Remax initially. I've known Vicky Veeney, who's one of the critical, integral people in Remax and has been for about 10 years. Vicky used to work for me, or with me, 10, 12 years ago, and had enormous admiration for her, and I've stayed friends with Vicky all through that time, and I noticed that I've always thought that Remax had enormous potential in Western Australia. However, it's battled because of the fact that it's been owned from the United States, and I felt that if I was able to take what Remax had to offer as an international brand, it's the most successful brand in the world, and add into that my local experience and my local knowledge, and add a bit of local personality, if you like, I thought, well, that recipe could be enormously powerful. But in answer to your question, why Remax? I love the Remax philosophy. The Remax philosophy is something that I didn't always used to believe in. I was like most of the major brands, and that is you don't let the sales associate get too powerful. You've got to make sure the brand always stays above the agent, if you like, whereas you know, you're really fighting a losing battle. You're swimming against the tide when you try and keep people down. So the Remax philosophy is everybody wins. You know, get out there, empower people, and get the individual salesperson and empower them. Let them promote themselves. Let them use their individual flair to be successful. And in so doing, understand that their success will reflect on the Remax brand. So I just love that philosophy, and I'm extremely passionate and excited about expanding that right throughout the industry in Western Australia.
Excellent. Well, I know we've had a number of discussions about the Remax brand, and you touched on the American thing and giving it that local kind of Western Australian flavour, so it's a bit more of a local presence. Pretty
parochial people, where West Australians are different. Having said that, I come from New South Wales originally. I moved here in '81 when I was in the SAS regiment back then, in the army, and stayed for 5 years and got out and thought, gee, this is not too bad. I don't think I'll go back to Queensland. And you know, in fact, I come from New South Wales. I was posted in Queensland, came from Queensland to Western Australia. So having lived there, having lived in South Australia, the Northern Territory, and the only state I haven't lived in, I think, is Victoria, which I don't regret. But I love Western Australia, and I can't see myself ever leaving. It's a beautiful place, but very individual. West Australians are certainly different. Come across that rabbit-proof fence and it all changes.
Well, with your training and the things that you do, obviously being a franchise, I'm sure Remax has got their systems and things, but with your 2 decades plus experience, you've been developing the Success Academy. So tell me a little bit more about that and how that works for...
Yeah. Look, getting back to what I said before, you know, West Australia is unique. Our market's unique. We're different to other states, although, you know, people still buy and sell houses. The way we go about it is different. And, you know, I've had some tremendously successful systems that I've developed over the years, and I'd love to say they were more all my ideas, but the fact is that any good trainer is, puts his material together from a collection of other people's ideas that he's been exposed to or she's been exposed to over many years. People like David Knox and Tommy Hopkins and the hundreds of people that I've listened to over the years. Some of the ideas I've got, I don't know who I got them off, to be honest with you, but one thing that's important is I always try to acknowledge the people who give me ideas, and sometimes it might be a person sitting in the audience in one of your seminars. But look, I get a tremendous kick out of training. I don't want to be a commercial trainer. Yeah. I'm a real estate agent, so I don't want to necessarily make my fortune from training. But certainly the benefit and the reward I get out of training is being able to help people succeed. And that's a two-way street. People say it's great how you help people succeed, but watching someone take that journey to success and knowing that you helped them is a pretty gratifying experience. So I guess that's my drive in relaunching the Success Academy, and we've got some terrific things happening there at the moment.
Excellent. Well, I do a bit of training myself, and I know you can lead the horse to water, but it's really when they decide to drink and take action on what you say that's, as you say, you get the reward of seeing their success, which is good. So, aside from all the stuff about the training and just real estate in general, you've been doing it for 20 plus years. Obviously, you've got quite a strong passion for real estate.
Yes.
What is it that drives you in real estate? Why real estate?
I think one of the biggest things that drives me is that they often do this survey that you hear on TV or on the news or in the newspaper where they rate people, and unfortunately real estate agents are only saved by car salespeople. I think they're rated about number 19 on a scale of 20. But having been in the industry for 23 years, I personally understand that the greater majority of people in real estate are fantastic people. They're not all necessarily the best salespeople. Yep. But I haven't met too many bad people. And in fact, I would say coincidentally, or not coincidentally, but I'm being a little bit cynical, the amount of bad people you meet in real estate is the same as the amount of bad people you meet in the panel beating industry or the dentistry industry or the solicitor industry or whatever you call it, a profession. The bottom line is, there are a few, but no more than anywhere else. I think because we're a commission-based industry, people do have a bit of a resentment for the fact that we earn a commission. But the perception sometimes is that we take that commission, put it straight into our pocket and go home. Yeah. The fact is that right across Australia today, the average retention of profit from turnover in the real estate industry is somewhere around the 6% mark, which means for every $10,000 you take, you're retaining about 6%. I'll be honest and say I wouldn't be running an agency if that was the case. Yeah. That's a bit skinny. But if you think about that as the average, it obviously means there's a lot of people battling in our industry, and there's a few that are doing all right. Yeah. The figures show that it's not in line with Pareto's principle. It's more a 90-10 rule, whereby 10% of agents are doing around 90% of the business. Yeah. My focus has always been is to remain in that top 10% and to ensure that the people in our team, be that our franchisees or our salespeople or whoever it is that's coming into Remax, to get them to understand that they've got to be a part of that top 10%, or at least pushing up towards it if they're going to have long-term success in real estate. Getting back to what you said, it's all about the people. I enjoy the culture, I enjoy the challenge, and I enjoy the courage. It's great to watch the courage of people in the industry whereby if they don't make a sale, guess what? They have skinny kids, as David Knox says, they don't get to feed their family. So, I think that's a fairly courageous approach to any sort of career. So anybody that knocks real estate agents, they're going to get a bit of knocking back from me, because I love the industry, love the people in it, not just the Remax people, the majority of the industry, because we do stick together. We're fiercely competitive, but we stick together. Yeah. Yep.
Excellent. Well, we'll wrap it up there.
Well, mate, I'm going to ask you a few questions before you wrap it up, because you're not going to get off that light, if that's okay with you. Sure. You're on Remax TV, so I'm going to milk your brain a little bit.